Okay, let me just say a few things about the midterm, so please be quiet. Thank you. So the midterm exam is next week. From around 6:45 to 8, I will have a review session in the classroom, so come and I will answer your questions. The only questions I will not answer is this going to be on the midterm? Do we need to know this? Those types of questions. But if you want to ask, how do we do this? You know, I am more than happy to answer those questions. So from 6:45 to 8, there will be a review session in here. The midterm exam itself will start from 8:30, go until 10 o'clock. It consists of multiple choice questions and a few short answer free response questions similar to the quiz. Okay. I have posted online a page that says About the Midterm. The About the Midterm lists off different topics and example problems that I think are worth studying. And I would say the content covered in those lists probably covers about 95% of what's on the midterm. If there's a question or two that's on the midterm that wasn't in the list, don't get angry, okay? I think it's okay to leave a little bit of mystery as to what shall be covered. Next week, you will need to bring your own calculator, okay? If you forget your calculator, I will, as I did today, I'll ask if there's students who are willing to lend a calculator, but if not, then I'm sorry, there's nothing that we can do. So make sure you bring a calculator, make sure it works. Bring your pencil and an eraser. I will provide the Scantron forms, so you don't need to buy Scantron forms, but you will need a pencil. Bring your ID card, some form of ID, photo ID, so either driver's license, student ID, any of those things. Passports for our international students is fine. Anything is fine. Anything with your photo on it. And you are allowed a note sheet. Okay, the note sheet is standard 8.5 by 11 letter paper. Don't try to bring a legal sized sheet of paper or something. And writing is allowed only on one side. Okay, so writing only on one side there. The note sheet must be created by you. Okay, it can be typed. You can have pictures of things on the midterm if you want to shrink example problems from the textbook and put it on there, that's fine. But the note sheet must be created by you. If I find two people with identical note sheets, I will confiscate both of them, okay? Because I don't know who is the creator and who's the copier. So make sure you are not making photocopies of your note sheet for other students. Okay? So that's my only requirement for the note sheet, is that it must be yours and yours uniquely. Yes?
Are you collecting them?
I will not be collecting them, but I will be taking a look at them as I go around during the test, yes.
You said one paper on one side?
Yes, for the midterm you are allowed writing on one side of the paper only. Okay. On the final exam you can write on both sides. There's about 25 to 30 multiple choice questions, about 4 to 5 free response questions. Okay. Yes?
Are you going to be here from 6 as usual?
No, I will not have office hours next week, okay? So the review session will stand in place of the usual office hours. Okay.
For the midterm, it's not out of like an extra 5 points, it's just straight, how many points down?
On the midterm I have a separate bonus question, okay? Okay.
So on our paper, we didn't have anything from the first quiz to the second that you just saw.
Yeah, if you want to make a shrunk down version of the first quiz and put that in there, that's fine. I'm not going to limit you on that. 100%, I don't know.
So, am I going to this other bonus question?
Would add, if you get the bonus question and everything, you'd probably get like 110%.
You curve it or not?
No, I haven't needed to curve
I
tests.
understand.
Yeah, if everyone fails, everyone fails. I wouldn't, in the beginning, when I first started teaching, I felt bad when things like that happened. But over the course of time, I realized that when students fail, it's not my fault. So. You said that? Okay. Well, I believe I've done my part in terms of communicating the content. So, round of applause, that's that. That's very nice. I appreciate that. You are responsible for your learning. Okay? I'm here to present the material in a way that can be understood. And, yes. Okay, yes. So the midterm covers everything from chapters 1 through 6. Today we are covering chapter 6. Quizzes 1 and quizzes 2 covered chapters 1 through 5. And so anything covered in the quizzes is fair game. Also anything covered in chapters 1 through 6 is also fair game. So in terms of what you should study, I would take a look at the list of topics that I've listed on the website. I think that's going to be the, if you focus the bulk of your time there, I think that will be time well spent. Okay, I passed out earlier today a bunch of reference tables. So let's we'll go over using the reference tables first, because that will be important for what we do in chapter 6. Okay, so pull out table 2, the standard normal cumulative probabilities. So let me talk about what this table refers to and why we're using it. Okay. So imagine we're going to talk about the normal model, and the normal model looks something like this. It looks like a hill. Sometimes it's referred to as a bell curve, but this is the normal model. If we were to shade everything underneath this curve, okay, so the curve that defines the hill, if we shade everything underneath it, the total shaded area under the curve is equal to 1, exactly 1. So if you shade everything under the curve, it will equal 1. Technically, the curve extends all the way to negative infinity and all the way to positive infinity, although the vast majority of what you will see will be between, I would say, negative 3 and positive 3. Sometimes you get numbers beyond that, but rarely. Okay, so the thing is centered at 0, okay? So if I draw a vertical line at 0, so this is exactly the halfway point, and I shade everything to the left, how much have I shaded? What is the total area that I have shaded? Yeah, the total area to the left of 0 is equal to 1/2, or exactly 0.5. If I come to say 0.5, and I draw a vertical line and I shade everything to the left of 0.5, how much do you think I've shaded? What's that? Okay, so we don't know exactly how much, but we do know that the amount I've shaded is going to be more than 0.5 and less than 1, right? Okay, and I'm going to just tell you right now that the amount shaded to the left of 0.5 left of 0.5 is equal to 0.6915. Okay, you don't have to have that memorized, but if I go out to 0.5, I've shaded almost 70%. Everything to the left of 0.5 represents almost 70%. Okay. What if I ask the question, instead of shading to the left, what if I shade to the right? So if I decide to shade to the right of 0.5, so what is the total area? So don't shout out your answer, but write down what you think the answer is. What is the total area to the right of 0.5? So think about this. Okay, and what is our answer? 0.3085? 0.3085. So the area to the right is 0.3085. Now how did I get 0.3085?
1 minus 6.6915?
Yeah. 1 minus 0.6915 is equal to 0.3085. So if everything to the left is 0.6915, this is just something I told you. If everything to the left of 0.5, if the area over here is 0.6915, and the total area under the curve is equal to 1, then this thing plus whatever is over here must add up to 1. Okay? So I have 0.6915 plus something is equal to 1. So to solve for that something, I do 1 minus 0.6915, and I get 0.3085. So the area to the right of the cutoff line drawn at 0.5 is equal to 0.3085. Does that make sense? Okay, so this is where our table comes in. Okay. When you look at the table, flip over to the other side, A3. This is the positive side of the table. Everything on the table, both sides, will always give you the area to the left of some point. Okay? So in the top corner, top left corner, I have 0.0, and the column is labeled 0.00. And the first number that you see is 0.5000. And that is a representation of what we first wrote here. The total area to the left of 0 is 0.5. Okay? So the table always gives us, you look up numbers up to 2 decimal places, and the table gives you areas up to 4 decimal places. Okay? So we are looking up 0.00, that's how we would express 0, and the area to the left is 0.500. Okay, so this is exactly the same thing that we have written. if I'm drawing a line at 0.5, I will go to the row that says 0.5, and the column is 0.00, and the number I get is 0.6915. So I'm looking up 0.50, area to the left is equal to 0.6915. So the table tells us the area that's to the left of some cutoff line. All right. What if instead of drawing a line at 0.5, I'm drawing a line at 0.52? Okay. So instead of drawing a line at 0.5, let's say I decide to go just a tiny bit more to the right at 0.52. Okay. And I ask, how much is to the left? Uh, 0.52. Well, we would expect what? Our answer to be a little bit larger than the area to the left of 0.5. Okay, so we can go to the table, and what we do is we go to the row 0.5, and across the top I see the columns 0.00, 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, etc., all the way up to 0.09. Okay. So the number 0.52 has 0.5 in the tenths place and a 2 in the hundredths place. So I'm looking at the intersection of 0.5 and 0.02, and the number that I get is 0.6985. Can we see that? Alright, so I just want to make sure everybody can find 0.52 on the table and find the number that represents the area to the left is 0.6985. So the area to the left is equal to 0.6985. So about 70% is to the left of 0.52. Question?
If we were to not have this table, the other way would do it, like, how do you do it?
Yeah, there's no way to really get these answers without the table, okay? It's, it would be very challenging. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put up a few questions as drills here, just to make sure that we can use this table properly, okay? To look up negative sides of the table, it's going to work exactly the same way. You look up negative 1.23, you would go to the row, negative 1.2 on the column, 0.03. Okay. So let's try it. Okay, so I'm going to put a few questions or drills up on here. I want you to take some time to identify these in your table, and we'll go over our answers. So, what is the area to the left? And I'm going to write to the left of z equals negative 1.23. What is the area to the left? So I've written 3 questions for you to answer using the table. How are we doing? Do we need another minute or are we good? 1 more minute. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay, let's take a look. What is the area to the left of z equals negative 1.23? So when I look this up in my table, I'm going to be on the negative side. And I go to the row negative 1.2. And the column 0.03. And what do I find there? Negative 1.23, I get 0.1093. Okay. So that means if I draw a line at negative 1.23 and shape everything to the left, the area is equal to 0.1093. And as I was walking around, don't write 1.23 equals 0.1093. Okay, that's not correct. You can say negative 1.23, and you can do an arrow and say the area is equal to 0.1093. Okay, but the number negative 1.23 is not equal to the number 1.093. It's the area to the left of negative 1.23 that's equal to equal to 0.1093. Yes?
So the multiple choice test, ask us that and then give us answers by looking at this.
Okay, so I don't think my questions will be this easy. Alright, this is getting us used to using this table, and we're going to learn how to use it in a real problem.
You write z-score equals?
So you can say z is equal to negative 1.23. So the z-score is equal to negative 1.23. But then you would have to write probability that z is less than. If that's the question you were asked
Yeah.
okay? Don't worry about that. So, but the z is not equal to 0.10. Okay, what is the area to the left of 0.06.
And you didn't want us to write whatever you were figuring out.
Yeah.
No. That was just a quick thing. Okay. Area to the left of 0.06, the answer there is 0.5239. So I'm going to the row 0.0 and the column 0.06, and I get 0.5239. Okay, and lastly, are there any questions on that? Yes.
Why do you go to the 0, 0 row? Like,
Okay, what number did you get?
I didn't really know how to do that.
Okay, so if we look at this number here, what number do I have up to the 10th place? I have 0.0, right? Okay, and then the 100th place is 0.06, right? So the 100th place is a 6. So I'm going to the row 0.0, and the column will be 6. Okay, what is the area to the right of 1.09?
What, 137?
That's the answer. But it's 0.8621.
Okay, so the answer is 0.1379. So how am I getting that? I will go to the row 1.0 and the column 0.09. Okay, and when I look that up, I get 0.8621. But my question is asking, what is the area to the right of 1.09? And the table always gives us the area to the left. Okay? So over here, I'm drawing a line at 1.09, and I'm asking how much is to the right of 1.09. So my answer is not 0.8621, that's the area to the left. So the area to the left is 0.8621, the area to the right is 1 minus 0.8621, and that gives me 0.1379.
Yeah. You would ask us also, you would give us the actual number and you would ask us to do it backwards too, right?
Yeah, so that's next. Okay. But I want to make sure we can do this. All right, anybody having problems or issues finding these things?
Anytime it's in the right, you use the 1 minus, right?
Yeah, anytime it's asking for the area to the right, you do 1 minus the area to the left. Okay, so always remember the table gives you the area to the left. If you're ever asked the area to the right, you do 1 minus the area to the left. Okay. So we can change this up, and I can ask something like, what is the z-score that's associated with, I would say, maybe the 40th percentile, okay? So let me just talk about percentiles for a second. So if I say the 40th percentile, the 40th percentile means this is the point where 40% is smaller. 40% of your data, or whatever it is that we're looking at, 40% of the population, is smaller than the 40th percentile. 40% of the data is smaller or less than the 40th percentile, smaller than if I say the 88th percentile, what percentage of the data is smaller than the 88th percentile? 88% of the data is small. If I talk about people in the top 2%, what percentile does that correspond to? Top 2% of people. That corresponds to the 98th percentile.
And how did you get?
How did I get that? Okay, so the top 2%, so if we're talking about the top 2%, what percentage of people are smaller than the top 2%? 98%, right? Because we have a total of 100%.
What about for the
Yeah. So the 88th percentile, 88% of the data is smaller. Is that confusing? Okay. So the definition, so the 40th percentile is the spot where 40% of the data is smaller. The 88th percentile is where 88% of the data is smaller. Okay, so whatever percentile it is, that percentage is smaller than that percentile. So if I talk about the 75th percentile, 75% of the data is smaller. Okay? Does this say percentile here? No. Not over here. I'm talking